Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here, and I appreciate especially everyone who came and who connected on a Saturday morning. I know it's not so easy, and I am very happy to be here, really, because those who know me know that I particularly like to meet students and discuss with them the current affairs and their plans and dreams and so on. So for me, it's really great to be here. Thank you so much. I understand, of course, that you invited me here because I hold a position that might be interesting for the students to hear. But I would like also, apart from sharing my experience and my work here in Istanbul as a Consul General, I would like the students to see the person behind the institution. So allow me first to briefly introduce myself, introduce our work here, and I will do my very best to limit myself and to leave as much as possible time for the debate, for the impressions of the students, questions, and so on, because that's what I am here for. I am here for meeting you, really, meeting personally. So I was asked to introduce myself, who I am. Obviously, I am a diplomat living and working in Istanbul, but I am an anomaly. You can say a diplomatic anomaly, because I didn't study international law. I didn't study business. I didn't study relations. I am a biologist by vocation. So I am, perfectly black sheep, but also my milestones that I have been asked to share with you are very complicated, and I will not share all of them because we would be here for a long time. But I was thinking only about those who can be interesting for you or inspirational maybe for you. I was raised in the 70s and 80s in the then Czechoslovakia. There was a communist regime under the strong influence in the then communist Soviet Union. So there was relatively a good chance to develop lives, but only or mainly those who somehow played with the regime or were working with that. For a big part of my childhood, my mom was trying somehow to cope with the situation, but then at the end of the 80s, just because she refused to join the Communist Party, she was thrown out of the job, and the institution made sure that she didn't find another one. And as a university educated person and expert, she was pushed to work as a cleaner. So this was the first milestone for me, because somehow unlogically it made the system, the regime made us the ones who started to turn against it. So I started as a 17, 18-year-old student, participate in the demonstrations for freedoms, for democracy, and so on. And in a very complicated way, I somehow joined the group around the dissidents, including Václav Havel, and I was also under the threat of being thrown from the grammar school, despite my good studies, but just in the right time, really just in the moment in which it seemed that I will finally be thrown out of school because of my civil activities. The revolution came, sort of.
Which year is that?
1989. I was 18 years old, and I was there, by the way, at the very streets where the fight was taking place. I was beaten by the police, and I naturally, because I was one of the group around the dissidents, although very young, I was present there. I was there during the transitional moments where the events took place, the decision making took place. I was there only, of course, preparing the tea for them, picking up the phones, not really being part of the decision making process, but being able to observe, to be part of it, to be trusted, was very important for me. And after the change, which took like 2 or 3 months in total, I was standing before the decision whether I should continue with this group in their new powers, or whether I should pursue my own way. I decided for the second one, and I started to study biology, and I started to be a civil activist, because I felt that I want to give back the energy of the foreign support for democracy that we received in the Czechoslovakia. So I started to make all the causes visible. For example, I don't know, the initiative to stop the death penalty use, or the campaign for Tibet, or there were many other topics. And I eventually, besides parallel of my studies of biology, I was the civil activist. And then, after I finished the studies, I worked as a scientist for a year, parallelly working as the activist. And then I was offered to represent an international NGO in Geneva and in Brussels, because the NGO had a consultative status with the United Nations. I was asked to represent it in Geneva and in Brussels. So I quit my scientific career and experience, and I went full-time for the politics and for civil society support and for the international relations. After some time, some very interesting experiences, including, for example, representing the NGO at the founding conference of the International Criminal Court, a topic that is now very lively. I decided, because of the personal developments, after 3 years I wanted to stabilize my life, and I decided to join the Czech diplomatic service, and they refused me. When I applied, when I asked whether I can join, they said I cannot join because I have a wrong university degree. So I tried again a year later, and I was selected. One of the 100 people were accepted, and miraculously I was accepted. So 26 years now I am a diplomat. I love it, and I because of my earlier experience, of course, I went through the experience of doing the human rights agenda and the other things that are connected with the civil society, like democracy promotion and so on. So it was my field of expertise. but then I changed also. So I tried and I pursued European Union issues for several or many years, I would say, as well. I was involved in the development cooperation, and also I was posted in Brussels for some time, and before actually coming here to Istanbul, I was for 7 years dealing with security policy, completely new and different issues for me again. So I was dealing with NATO issues, and you can imagine since 2018 to 2023, security policy was a very stressful and busy thing. So that was something that was sort of very important for me to strengthen my expertise as well. And finally, 2.5 years ago, I came here again by pure chance. I was supposed to go to Milano as a consul general because I speak Italian, but for some twist of fate, I ended up here. Miraculously, I underline again, because Istanbul obviously is very prestigious post, and many former politicians or even current politicians fight for it. So somehow I am here, and I think that finally, as I told you in brief, the wide spectrum of what I was paying attention to during my life pays off, because everything what I was ever dealing with is relevant here in Istanbul, starting from politics, civil society, democracy, economics, defense, environment, whatever you can think of that I was sort of inconsistently, in a way, trying to follow in my life. It comes together here, and I often think I found my place, at least for 4 years, because this is something that I absolutely enjoy to juggle with all the enormous potential that you have here, enormous role that the Turkish people have in everything that is happening now regionally, globally. So I am trying to be adequate, but it's very challenging. So yeah, that's it. And as I said in the beginning, I love to meet university students. It's kind of my hobby. Very often I do. And I believe that we, as Europeans, or you as Turkish people, are in a very good hands, because Turkish young people especially are perfectly aware of their role and the position and their task. So it's great to meet up and to discuss. And I am eager to hear from you. What are your dreams? What are your intentions? Maybe questions, maybe you need reassurance, as every young people maybe need. So that's it. I am here for you for a couple of minutes to discuss and to listen. So that's it. I hope I was not too long. Thank you for your attention and for your time. And it's your space now.
It's first me. Thank you for coming here, because it is very important. Our students very aware for everything, like diploma, economy. Istanbul is very important city in the world, and we hosted many ministers in here, and also diplomats, but local one. you are an international one, so we are very happy for host here. And also our students, also I am a PhD, I have a PhD like history, and I want to be mentor for my students. And also our students very international because they are traveling around the world and you know Erasmus Plus like this, and you are an opportunity for them. And I want to ask you like different study for this diplomatic career, and what is the end of the story, and what is your dream of this life, and after Istanbul or after diplomatic situation, what is the next?
I don't know. I stopped making plans, you know. Understandably, if you are aware of my life, yeah, I have many hobbies, many interests, and I finally at 54, I think I know myself better. I am aware of what I can do and what I cannot do. So it's liberating, by the way. And well, I would like to be a diplomat because I think I now have, you know, already some experience, and I have a passion to do that. But at the same time, I am aware that you know the world is changing so fast, and not in a way that would give us too much hope to pursue the more building of the international rule of law and so on. So I will stay in that path as long as I can, really. I am ready to make concessions. I am ready to find, you know, a way how to contribute to preserving the rule of law. Compromises, you know, I am ready, but there is a certain line that I will not cross. And now it seems to me that I cannot exclude the fact that I will leave the diplomacy. I don't want to, I am not planning to, but I cannot exclude it. And in that case, I don't know, maybe I will go back to the non-governmental world. I will go to education, I will go to gardening, that is another passion of mine. Well, I don't know. It's an open-ended story.
Maybe come back as an ambassador to Ankara.
Well, that could be a possibility if the world was normal. Yeah. I would like to. I have to say that Turkey bewitched me completely. It's a fantastic, incredible place, incredible people, incredible country, especially nowadays. So I put all my energy to actually do what makes sense to me, what makes sense for keeping your country and Europe and your country and our country as much together as possible, and in the future even more. That's something I think we both need. And yeah, I will do my best. I will do my best in whatever I can, and if I cannot do it in diplomacy, then I will find my way. I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. Yeah. By the way, I wanted to ask, is there any of you who wants or who contemplates to be a diplomat?
Yes.
Yes? Great. And you are studying international relations?
I'm studying international trade.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And then with the International Student Association in Turkey, I'm a member of a diplomat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I'm the vice president of the Ghana Union Student in Turkey.
Okay.
So, like, my question was, like, being a diplomatic, what are some skills apart from like education that is most essential to be a diplomatic these days?
Well, I think openness to different cultures, you have to not only to be tolerant, but you have to accept the fact that the world is so multifaceted, and you have to accept to actually live and follow different rules, cultures, and so on. So openness and acceptance of that. I think that you need to be able to listen a lot, to observe and listen, and adapt. It's a skill that is not so obvious because people, of course, the communication skills of a diplomat are the everyday instruments, of course, and everybody is now especially concentrating on being able to speak, to get the message across. But I think even more important is to listen, to read between the lines, to actually reply to what is being said and what is not being said. So I think that one is not obvious, but it's very important. I think, well, yeah, that's it. Another thing is to learn, because you have to understand that, of course, when you have the university education in the relevant field, like international business, international law, and so on, still you have to keep learning all your life, because there is always still something that every day you have to adjust, you have to learn. So you have to be ready for that, and you have to sort of be able to change your mind, because everybody is naturally creating some paradigm or ideas how the world is working, how we should live, and so on. And of course, by learning, you are adjusting this idea, this paradigm. So you cannot be rigid, really. Or if you are, it doesn't help so much. I like to say that diplomats are there as a civil part of the army, because if we are not able to find a solution by the diplomatic work, by negotiating, by meeting people, by knowing them, by finding solution, by trading with them, then if we are not able to do that, to achieve, then usually the soldiers have to come, and it is then even more complicated. So it's something that you have to keep in mind.
And then also, there is the cultural diplomacy and then the political diplomacy. So these two, what combines them?
Oh, they have to combine. They have, it's that's why. And here in Istanbul, for example, it's a fantastic place to see how it works. That this all, cultural diplomacy, political diplomacy, economy diplomacy, meeting students, meeting academia, sharing everything, even visa, visa is a policy, that integrates into this whole system that is reinforcing each other. Cultural diplomacy, it's of course the soft way how to strengthen the bonds, how to show that we are the same, that we have the same culture, desires, interests, that we can enrich each other. But from that we have contacts, we have the idea that yes, there are people who come to our exhibitions, for example, and they say, oh, it's an interesting place, so they visit or they decide to study, and from that we have the business contacts, and then from the business contacts we have maybe the scientific contacts, and it's really not separated, it's absolutely interconnected. So that's why here in Istanbul, it is so obvious how well it works, because the Turkish society as a whole is so fascinating, so professional, so interesting, and so interested to actually strengthen the bond. So wherever I say it's hard to keep here, to keep the line and not to overwork and absolutely fall down of being busy, because the moment in which you start doing something in whatever field, then it goes tenfold, right, René? I mean, not even tenfold, 100-fold. It's and you need to be able to pursue those different lines. So it's fascinating. It's challenging, but it's so motivating. Yeah. So please don't take it as a separate part of something. It's a part of one organism that makes fantastic sense. And the sense, I think, is to keep us together, and it's not just a banal declaration. We need to be together. We cannot survive. The democratic rule of law, respecting countries, societies in the world, and especially in our orbit, but also in Africa, we need to stick together. We cannot give way to those who want the power and power only. Power is not bad in itself. It's the question is how you manage the power, right? So sorry for being so.
Selim var galiba.
Yes, ladies, please.
Okay, hi. First of all, thank you for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Hilal. I'm studying civil engineering at Istanbul Technical University. I am a third grader. And my question is, how do you find the diplomacy here? Do you think it's been handling in the right way, or what are the things that can be different?
I think Turkish diplomats are incredible professionals. So diplomacy, for me, as such, is an instrument. It's a layer of the executive power, which is serving the politics. So the diplomacy here is fantastic, experienced, professional, open-minded, adaptable, aware of the role of Turkish state. It's, for me, it's really impressive, inspirational, and an honor and a pleasure to work with. Even the government, from my personal point of view, is playing fantastic job in balancing the position. You know that from the fact that Turkey is offering the negotiating space for all the possible conflicts around the world, starting from Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, US, everything. And exactly, Turkey is in very specific and unique position to do so, and you should do it. I mean, I completely agree and support, and I am grateful for that fact. At the same time, Turkey is a NATO ally, and they are perfectly aware of it. And they obviously not only NATO ally, but vital NATO ally for many reasons. Not only for the fact that you have the second largest army, but you have the technology, you have the position, you have, oh my God, so many things. The thing is the intensity or the way between this understandable balancing between the EU or European alignment and the rest of the world. I think for me, it's respectable, understandable, but now what makes me a little bit anxious is the situation between the European Union and Turkey. We know that not only the government but all the levels of the society are still saying yes, we want to be member of the EU. EU is saying yes, Turkey is a very important country, but the debate or the narrative shifts from being the future EU member to an important strategic partner. And I think this is dangerous. I think we should keep the path to Turkish EU membership, however far it may be, because obviously it's absolutely legitimate that EU is saying, oh, but the alignment of Turkey in terms of foreign policy, in terms of rule of law, is something that we have to work on. So the dedication of Turkey to really become the member of the EU has to be reinforced, but at the same time, the EU interest has to be more obvious, in my opinion. So now it seems to me that EU and Turkey behave in a sort of strange way, that we are saying, yes, we want to be together, both sides, but we are waiting for the other to make the bigger step to show that we want to be together, you know. So I do my best to actually entice the EU, or at least Prague, to be part of the active members of the EU, to say yes, we have to pursue, we have to do, which is more and more complicated. But that's what I'm saying. We need also Turkey from the European side. We need Turkey to show, beside the words, also the willingness to actually say yes, we are ready to play by the EU rules in a way. And one important remark, I think that EU is perfectly aware that in the current situation we need EU to reform a little bit, to adjust or adapt before new waves of enlargement, because the whole mechanism, the whole machinery needs to adjust before we take in new members. So, but at the same time, it will not be tomorrow. So, Turkey has time to decide really what they want, how they want to be part of the EU. So that is, you asked about the diplomacy. I went all the way through the EU, but this is for me a very important thing. And yeah, through the contacts, academic students, business, I don't know, regional politics, global politics, we step by step, every day, we can be able to make those two partners come more and more closer, and to see that there is a way, that there must be a way, because Europe needs Turkey for many reasons, and Turkey needs Europe for many reasons. So that's the thing. Sorry for the length. There was the lady first.
Hello, I'm Melike. I'm so excited to hear you. I'm a doctoral student in the Department of Social Work at Istanbul University. My question is, as an activist, also as a diplomat, what are your thoughts on the ongoing violence around the world? What kind of stance do you take in this issue? I wonder that.
Thank you. Well, being an activist means being increasingly depressed watching the developments. I think that it's not only violence, but I think the undergrowing roots is the situation about the rule of law, and we see it in the last days, especially. For 80 years, the international community, especially the collective West, was trying to create the global rule of law system for 80 years. And during the last 4 years, it imploded or is imploding continuously. And for me, it's a nightmare, because for most of my career, I was trying to strengthen the construction or whatever it is. I was, as I told you, part of the conference creating the International Criminal Court. But the current developments and the fact that really countries are withdrawing their membership from the international conventions, important ones. There is no accountability anymore to even for the Security Council. There is nothing you can rely on in that way. So I am afraid that the violence always occurred, but exactly because of the rule of law system, there was always, although it took some years, there was always at the end the possibility to bring the perpetrators to justice, or to end the violence, or to find a solution. Although it was slow and it was frustrating, but there was a hope because of that construction of the international system. Now that one does, it seems that it will be imploding more, and nothing will be able to, nobody will be able to actually pursue the law and justice and peace, because it's connected, right? It's, the international rule of law system was there for a reason, because it was a consensual way of the global players to actually respect at least something. It was complicated, it was, frustrating, but it was something. Now I'm afraid we will have nothing. And I'm afraid that the violence, if we are not able to save the system, to reverse that awful trend, it will be worse and worse, even with the violence, with the conflict, because there will be no stop. For, there are crazy people, there have always been, there will always be. There must be a system that stops them or limits them. And increasingly, it seems that it will not be the case. So your generation have it in your hands. I hope our generation will still be able to do something to sort of try to reverse the thing. But yeah, you will have to keep fighting. In the 1990s and early 2000s, we overslept, I think. We were so sure that the trend is open-ended. The strengthening of democracies is it seemed also rosy and promising. And at that time, the new dictators and even the old ones consolidated their power. And now we wake up to a new world, which is absolutely shocking. If someone 2 or 3 years ago even told me that this will be happening, I wouldn't believe, really. So we have to brace for more, but we have to brace for fighting some more. We cannot be, I think, and it goes to every single personal decision, to be ready to step out of being cozy and comfortable, to actually go out and try to change. And it will not change without, starting with you, changing something, at least something around you. You don't have to be Václav Havel to change the world, on Nelson Mandela or whoever. They even started with their personal decision and their immediate environment. So it's up to us. Yeah. Yes, there is the young gentleman who raised his hand.
Firstly, thank you for your presentation. My name is Melih, and I'm a third-year medical student in Cerrahpaşa University, Cerrahpaşa Faculty of Medicine. My question is, we see that nowadays there has been a significant increase in Turkish students wanting to study abroad in Europe, maybe in Czechia, via Erasmus or any other projects. However, due to long waiting times for visa appointments, many students are missing their start dates. What do you think of this situation, and what is the background of this situation? And we have a plan to speed up this process so students can arrive in time.
Yes, absolutely. We are perfectly aware of it, believe me, and we struggle with it as well. I want just to underline, first of all, and strongly, that the Czech Republic and the Czech universities want Turkish students to study in Czech Republic as much as possible, as intensely as possible, as long as possible. The visa is obviously something that we have to together resolve, because what we are struggling with is also the result of the fact that the Turkish students who are accepted by the Czech university, they wait until the last moment for applying for the visa, and then obviously the date, the application date is not available. I consulted with my consul yesterday. How much time does it take? It doesn't take more than 3 months. Even in the peak time, for example, in summer, obviously, and in December, when the semester studies are about to start, we have the peak. So during the peak times, it doesn't take more than 3 months. And at the same time, the acceptance letters of the universities, more or less, are also 3 months in advance, usually. So if the students who receive the acceptance letter from the university immediately apply for the appointment, they get it in time. The problem is that the students who wait, they create the long list, or help to create long list, because simply, then a few days or a few weeks before the starting of the semester, we are completely full, because we have a limited team to deal with the visa, obviously. There is a second thing that is important to note. There is a special student regime. If the Turkish students are accepted to the Czech university, the Czech university can enter them in a special sort of pipeline for the visa. This is called the student regime, and it enables us to deal with the visa procedure quicker and smoother. I always ask the students who are actually interested to study in the Czech Republic or in Schengen, for that matter, because it's the same. Please communicate with the Czech university, and please apply for the appointment as early as you know you want to study. We have for the refusal, let's say, for the refusal rate is very low. For the students, it's like 4 or 5% of refusal rate, and it's always when we find that there are inconsistencies in the applications. By the way, even for the tourist visa, I have checked yesterday, we have 10% refusal rate. So 90% of the tourist applications going to the Czech Republic are approved, given out. So I know that there is a narrative that EU doesn't want Turkish people to visit, to study, to do business. From my point of view, it's a nonsense. And I checked, by the way, also the other Schengen countries, more or less the same situation. So, of course, there are higher 2 or 3 other countries who have higher refusal rate, but not more than 20% for those 2. Others are around 10% like us. For the tourist visa, for the student visa, it's much better, and really we want to deal with that. Just be aware that we have to, it has to go through the hands of concrete people. It has to be decided by the Ministry of Interior. We are trying to simplify it, we are trying to help, but we cannot deal with all the applications at the same time. It's not humanly possible. So earliest possible and through the special pipeline. And if you ever find yourself in trouble, you can always let us know, and we will be trying to help. I know it's frustrating for you, it's frustrating for us, but that is the situation.
Hello, I'm İlham. First of all, thank you for accepting us on a Saturday morning, coming here all the way. Since you've been living here for 2.5 years, I want to ask you that it's obvious to see that Turkish citizens, somehow they're all involved in politics. So everyone you ask outside, they will know somehow what is going on in the world and so on. Because Turkey has its position, it's in the middle of everything. There's like wars behind us, other countries. So everyone is aware of everything. So my question to you is that, I want to get to know more about what is the relations, as you mentioned about your earlier life between the Soviet Union. What is the currently relations between Czech Republic and the Russian governments?
Very problematic, very tricky. We are part of the EU, so that defines our position. Within the EU, we are those who are trying to limit the hybrid activities of Russia in Europe. As you know, the Russian intelligence officers and all the system around them are very active in putting wedge not only between the countries of the EU but also within the societies. So it's very intense, let's say, hybrid war already. So Czech Republic actually is the country which is proposing for the hard limitation of the possibility of movement of the Russian diplomatic staff within Schengen area. For the bilateral relationship, we have the ambassadorial level since I think a year ago. There was again a new ambassador sent to Moscow. We are formally and officially talking, but our role is very limited there, diplomatic role, because simply it's this basic communication line between Prague and Moscow on the political level, but because of the sanctions of the EU, because of all the situation and around the war against Ukraine, it's very, very limited, and it's very, very difficult for our colleagues there in Moscow. So very limited. We are, as you may know, since 2021. We were Czech Republic and US actually were the first 2 countries who were officially declared as enemies of Russian Federation. Then we were joined by the rest of the EU, so we are in a good club now. So very very tricky. And as I say, or as I said before, this is the basic. This is the obvious. Another obvious way how the diplomatic relations are useful. We are very in a very difficult times now, but we still communicate. You know, so it depends on both sides now what will happen. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for the inspirational conversation. Once upon a time, I was a student as well and participated in somehow not political activist, but participated in some projects with the European Union. And I saw that European politicians or diplomats are much more approachable. Even in here, in this foundation, we have hosted several ministers and so on, but from our nature of being Turkish, it's a monologue, because the state is the authority and you are the state, and the state talks to us. We don't have a conversation with them. But from my experience, for example, when I was as a student, not through connections, nothing, I have met several times actual mayor of Paris, Madame Anne Hidalgo, Mr. Alain Juppé. We have organized meetings in Senate, in here at the university. I think he is still the ambassador of France, Mr. Magro, Hervé Magro. As a student, I met him several times. So I saw that they were much more approachable and accessible to students. I mean, when I was an adult, it was impossible to approach them, but as a student, it was much easier. So what would be your advice to our youth? Because it's for you as well a need to strengthen the binds of civil diplomacy.
Yes.
Part. What would be your advice? Because we have our own barriers in our minds as a Turk. What would be your advice?
I think I am not sure if I am in a good place to advise anything, but I think you named it, and it's the barrier. You have to, obviously there are some barriers external, you have to go through some procedures, or you have to go, if you want to meet somebody or if you want to organize something, you have to find the way, and it's not always comfortable or usual. You have to be determined to do it externally, but I think that very importantly we have the barriers inside our heads, and very often, by the way, I am asked by the students, especially ladies, how it is to be a woman in the politics, in diplomacy, and every time I answer, yes, you have to fight more, you have to work more, you have to overcome the sort of barriers in other people and in the system, but what is more important is to overcome your own internal barriers. So I would say in the civil involvement or in the communication with the politicians or with the representative, you have to consider yourself relevant enough to be able to go out there. Yes, or to organize, for example, if you personally don't find yourself like relevant enough, or you don't think it's possible to actually get the attention of the local or governmental entity or business or whatever, then you can create something, you know, an initiative, a group of people to combine the energies. But you know, the last possibility, and I can assure you that the not working one is to wait for the other to come to you. It will never happen. So if you ever want anything, actually, you have to go out there, and you said perfectly that it starts in your head, and then then you find a way if you want to. Yeah.
We have one more question
Yes.
online. Can you open the show that for the voice? Ses gelmiyor.
Televizyonda.
Just a second.
Yeah, that's better.
I hope everyone can hear me well now.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, Mrs. Hajflerová'yı, I would like to thank you for all of your insights. I am Mohammed Serdar. I am studying English language and literature as a third-year student at TOG University in Ankara. And I have two questions I would like to ask you, both of which are concerning politics, actually. First, I would like to get your initial thoughts and comments about the rising left sentiment online, especially on X and Blue Sky, for example. As someone who has lived through a communist regime yourself, and as someone whose parents have lived through such a regime, what are your thoughts on people who advocate for such a rule, online especially?
I'm not sure I caught the right name of the. Is it left groups or? Sorry.
Yes.
Left. The tendency to the left spectrum. Okay.
Of politics, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have to admit that I am not sure if the separation of left and right is relevant anymore. I am, you know, also through my experience in the last 35 years, let's say, and even in the 1990s, at least in Europe, I started to see that the left-right division starts to crumble or starts to be less relevant, because what we are dealing with, I think, is the extremists on either side. It doesn't mean that I advocate for the center necessarily. It means that I think what is the tendency now is the extremism in everything that you can possibly think of. Including the left, including the right, including the center. I mean, the general political environment starts to simplify the issues, the complex political issues, and start to present narratives that are simplifying and going to the extremes, be it left, right, center, or whatever color. I think that what is needed is to return to the complexity of the debate and to accept left, right, center, different colors, but avoiding as much as possible the extreme solutions, extreme views, because you know there are so many pressures, especially from outside of the societies, but from the inside as well. Simply our citizens in Europe and in Turkey and in America are under so much pressures and so much complexities that they are anxious and they are fearful. And anyone who comes there who misuses the fear and the anxiety for the populistic, you call it, populistic solutions, gains the power, and they are not even capable of then using the power. And the populists, if you can follow the situation in Europe, in America, They are not anymore left or right or Republican or Democrat or I don't know, socialist and whatever. They are simply extremist, full stop. And the traditional political content is blurred, in my opinion. The danger is the fact that the politicians who want to be successful under this environment of fear and anxiety, they need to offer simple solutions, populist solution, and then only when they come to power, they start to actually search for the traditional political solutions. They simply, they are somehow lost. We don't have, by the way, I observed recently that we don't have leaders in Europe anymore. Political leaders, like Churchill used to be a leader, under Angela Merkel. However, you cannot agree with her or whatever you have the opinion about her politically, she was a leader. We don't have leaders anymore. And people need to require leaders, but we have pseudo leaders now. We have only, at least in Europe, in Turkey is a different story. I think because your society is so much interested in politics, so much lively, so much participatory. You have leaders, but we are losing them in Europe because our society sort of rests in the situation in which we feel like we have the right to be cozy and do not so much, and the politicians then take care of everything. While here it is different. So back to your question, I am not, disturbed by the rise of the left. I am disturbed by the rise of the extremist, whatever their color or self-declared identity is, because I think it's irrelevant. Thank you.
Do you think we have leaders? Huh?
You have leaders. You have leaders. You have leaders. You have leaders including in the young generation. You have politicians in the traditional political sense, I believe, because I think it comes from the way the society works. Turkish people meet in the extended families, in the communities. They are very active. They are communicating about politics all the time. They are part of the political process, and from that grow the old and new and the future generations of the political leaders, of political people. Yeah. I think. I might be wrong.
You are right. Any question? Okay.
I'm Enes. I'm an electrical engineering student. I had Erasmus in Italy, and I saw the European young people there, and they are not stressed. They are traveling. They are doing nothing, and they are not stressed. But as a Turkish young people, I always feel stressed and overwhelmed. I want to ask you, what do you think about the Turkish young people?
I already mentioned that I am amazed, and I am always, when I meet them, of course I meet particularly the university students, so it's a part of the young generation, but I am full of hope every time, because they are curious, open, active, passionate about what they do. I am hopeful.
Maybe the difference between the European young people and the Turkish young people.
Yeah, I am afraid so, and I mentioned it even now. Young people are part of the general population, so of course young people are the product, let's say, of the whole society, and if the society is used to more, I am not saying that we are, terrible sitting at home and scrolling on the media, but on the whole, if I compare it, we might be in the Czech Republic or in Europe more used to the fact that we don't have to be active in order to be comfortable politically, economically, whatever. Turkish society is used to fight for their life. I mean, fight for their success, fight for their position, and the young generation is raised in that, and the same, so it's, I think this is the impression.
Okay. Any question? No. Thank you for coming here. It was for honor for us to host here. Thank you so much. And we want to take a group photo if we may. Arkadaşlar şöyle gelelim.
May I just now thought about one more question to your students. Is there anyone who now considers studying or doing business with the Czech Republic? Okay, in case you do, you are very welcome, and and you can find out where the consulate is. So if you need any guidance or help, let us know.
Actually, just 2 minutes question. It's a cultural thing. We know as we have many neighbors, we have historical relations, even with you guys. It's through Austria, Hungary, a part of Bohemian. We know the transition after the Soviet, about the Turkic republics or Belarus, Ukraine. But how it's called, Iron Curtain countries, how was the transition? We don't know. You became part of the European Union. You are much more Europeans than the others, or Eastern neighbors.
Yeah.
But we don't know about the transition. So as you asked about if our friends are willing to come, maybe this is one of the questions that the Turkish, we are a little bit foreign, especially to the former Iron Curtain countries.
Mm-hmm. If you are asking in a way, if
society.
The society, how it became...
Not politics, I'm not talking about the politics.
How it became the part of the European family.
Yeah.
We always have been. The society always have been. I mean, we were made, during the Iron Curtain, we were made more passive. We were made more relying on what the regime decides. But I believe it was always there. We had a very important 20 years of history in the beginning of the 20th century, that we were a very important country, independent Czechoslovakia after the First World War, and I think it has been sort of part sleeping there, ready to go back to European family. And I remember during the revolution in '89, one of the slogans, important ones, were "Back to Europe." So we felt, the society felt like we are not going to visit or going to integrate. We went to reintegrate back to Europe. So we were always part. And sometimes we think, okay, we sort of accepted that we are part of the Eastern Europe, but we always insist that we are Central or Western Europe, depending geographically or where you place the boundaries. So It has always been there. Yeah, I hope it will remain like that.
Yeah, we hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.